Today's video is brought to you by creativesdothis.com. It's early morning in Goa, the kind of morning that makes people believe in paradise. Palm leaves trembling in the soft wind, the Arabian Sea turning gold beneath the sunrise, tourists walking to the sound of distant waves and laughter. But not far from the beaches of Canacona, the silence feels different. A local farmer walks a dirt path through the fields, the same route he takes every day. He knows this land like the back of his hand. But today, something stops him. In the tall grass, about 30 yards from the road, he notices a shape. At first, he thinks it's a pile of clothing. Tourists do sometimes leave things behind after the festivals, but as he steps closer, the colours don't move in the breeze. It's not clothing, it's a person. He runs to the nearby village, shouting for help. By the time the police arrive, the morning sun is now high in the sky, flooding the clearing with light. And under that now merciless illumination lies a woman, her body still, her spirit gone. Her name would soon spread across Goa, across Ireland, across the world. Danielle McLaughlin, 28 years old, backpacker, daughter, dreamer. By the way, this is Dark Case, and you can call me Jack. I bring you rare and unseen true crime cases, as well as other things that you may later regret knowing, with multiple uploads every single week. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, then hit subscribe now to join the Dark Case family, and make sure you have all notifications turned on. A quick silly little question for you to answer down in the comments. Would you rather get 1 penny every second for the rest of your life, or have 10 grand right now? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much to all of my supporters over on Patreon, as well as right here via channel memberships on YouTube. Love ya. Now, on with the video. Before her name became known for what happened, before the courtroom battles and the candlelight vigils, Danielle McLaughlin was simply known for her smile. People in Buncrana, her seaside hometown in County Donegal, said you could hear her laughter before you saw her. It carried down the narrow streets, out of cafes, and into the wind that swept across the Irish coast. She was the eldest of 6 sisters, the one that everyone went to advice for. She had a way of making problems feel smaller, of finding a calm in the chaos. Danielle loved the arts. She danced and she wrote. She studied psychology and sociology at Liverpool John Moores University, always curious about people, about what made them kind and about what made them hurt. Her mother, Andrea Brannigan, would later describe her as too trusting, maybe, but endlessly kind. It was that trust, that openness that drew people to her. By her mid-20s, Danielle had begun to travel. She wasn't chasing escape. She was searching for connections. India, in particular, had stolen her heart. In 2016, she'd volunteered at an orphanage there, helping children to learn English, organising art projects, and even teaching dance. She fell in love with the colours, the contradictions, the rhythm of the country. When she came home to Ireland, she couldn't stop speaking about India. She constantly told her friends that she wanted to go back, this time to train as a yoga teacher. She believed in peace, in energy, in light. She said India felt like a place that could help her reset. So in February of 2017, she packed her backpack, her journals and a guitar. She bought a round-trip ticket, but she wasn't thinking about coming home yet. She flew into Goa, a pocket of India where spirituality and tourism collide. A place known for beaches, trance music, and sunsets that make you feel lost in time. For 2 weeks, Danielle stayed in a beach hut near Palolem Beach, sharing a space with an Australian friend. There she made friends easily, locals, travellers, shop owners. They said that she was warm, unguarded, and curious about everything. But beneath the beauty of Goa, there is an undercurrent. There's stories that locals don't tell the tourists, a tension between the paradise that people see and the dangers that linger unseen. Still, Danielle was not afraid. She had been there before. She trusted the people that she met. This video is sponsored by Creatives Do This, a platform that I've helped to launch that features real interviews with real artists, candle makers, musicians and creatives of all kinds who are making it work. Right now we're looking for creatives to feature. So if you've made money from your creativity, whether it's a full-time career or a new side hustle, and you want to share how you did it, we'd love to hear your story. It's just a short text-based interview and it takes around 10 minutes. And in return you get free lifetime access to everything that the platform becomes. Plus your work will get featured to inspire others and to build your brand. Hit the link in the description or the pinned comment to take the quick interview and to become one of the 100 founding members. There's now less than 50 spaces left. www.creativesdothis.com. In early March she told her family that she now planned to move to a different hut, somewhere quieter. She even mentioned a local man, someone that said he'd help her to find new accommodation, saying that he was someone that she believed and could trust. But 2 weeks after that conversation, Danielle was gone. At that time, no one thought much of that detail, but later, that single offering of help, that man's promise to find her a new place to stay, would become the final link in a chain that was pulling her into tragedy. Holi, the festival of colours. In India, it's a celebration of renewal, of light conquering darkness, of letting go of what's gone. Every March, the air in Goa turns electric. Villagers come alive with paint, laughter, and the sound of drums that pulse like a heartbeat. Strangers become friends in an instant. People dance barefoot in clouds of pink and green powder, throwing handfuls of joy into the sky. On the night of March 13th, 2017, Danielle joined in the celebration. She'd spent the evening laughing with other travellers, as well as locals in a nearby village. Her face was streaked in colours, her hair tied back, her eyes bright. To anyone watching, she looked free, alive in the moment. Among the people that she met with that night was a man that she already knew, someone that she'd met during her previous time in India, someone that she trusted, Vikat Bhagat. Vikat was 24, a local from Kanakona. People described him as quiet, friendly and helpful. He often mingled with tourists, showing them around. He would offer them rides, helping them to find huts or guest houses. To Danielle, he was just another friend in a place that now felt like home. He was the man that told her earlier that day that he could help her move to somewhere safer, that he knew someone renting rooms near Agonda. As the Holi celebrations faded and the crowd began to thin, Danielle told her Australian friend that she was heading out for the night. She said that she'd see her in the morning, but that was the last time that anyone saw Danielle alive. Later that evening at around 10 p.m, a CCTV camera on a quiet street in Kanakona caught a glimpse of two people walking side by side. Danielle, still covered in traces of coloured powder, and Vikat. Together they looked calm, there was no signs of fear or a struggle, just two people moving through the dim orange glow of the streetlights. Police would later call this the moment before. According to witnesses, Danielle and Vikat were seen near a scooter parked off the road. The scooter belonged to him. He told her that he'd give her a lift, so they rode off towards the outskirts of town, a winding road that leads into the hills, the kind of route that must feel endless in the darkness. And then hours passed. The next morning, she didn't return to her hut. Her friend tried to reach her but got no response. She then called the police, and that day the search began. Local officers, villagers and volunteers all combed the area around Dioba Beach, moving through the groves and overgrown fields, and just past a narrow dirt path, hidden from the main road, that is where the farmer made the discovery that would put an end to the search. Danielle was now gone. Her backpack, her passport were both missing, her body left in the open beneath the rising sun. As the morning turned into the afternoon, a crowd had gathered along the roadside. Locals, shopkeepers, children standing on tiptoes just to see. Word travels fast in Goa, especially when it's about a foreigner. A single white police jeep blocked the narrow dirt path. Behind it, investigators marked the scene with ropes and chalk. Police worked quietly and methodically. They collected soil samples, photographed footprints, and bagged pieces of torn fabric and fibers. But one clue stood out immediately: a set of tire tracks, fresh and distinct, cutting through the edge of the field. It led to a small two-wheeled vehicle, a scooter, abandoned near the main road. When they ran the registration, the name came up quickly: Vikat Bhagat. By that evening, officers had already begun to search for him. He was found less than 24 hours later, hiding in a nearby area. When questioned, he didn't resist. He sat quietly, head down, and according to investigators, he confessed almost immediately. He admitted to the killing, said Deputy Superintendent Sammy Tavares at the time. Later reports, however, would reveal that the confession did not stay consistent. Vikat changed his story several times, first claiming that it was just an accident, then that others were involved, and then denying everything altogether. Still though, the evidence pointed directly towards him. There was the CCTV footage from the night before. There was the scooter and the tyre marks, clothing that tested positive to his DNA. There was also a series of injuries that matched to a violent struggle. So within just hours of his arrest, Vikat Bhagat was charged with SA, with murder and with destruction of evidence. News of the arrest reached Ireland through breaking headlines. Andrea Brannigan, Danielle's mother, says she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her daughter, the girl who loved teaching children, who wanted to teach yoga, was now gone just like that. As her word spread, so did the outrage. In Goa, locals gathered near the police station with candles and flowers. They laid out a green banner that read, "Justice for Danielle." Tourists joined them. The night air flickered with candlelight, a fragile glow against the darkness that had settled over their town. And even at these early stages, whispers began to grow. People questioned whether the case would really see justice. Would it be like Scarlet killings, where suspects were just acquitted years later? Would Danielle's story fade away once the tourists went home? Nobody knew, but they could guess. But if one thing was clear, Danielle's family would do everything in their power to not let that happen. After the arrest, everyone thought that the case would now move quickly. There was the evidence, there was the confession, there was a family waiting an ocean away, desperate for answers. But in India, justice rarely moves quickly, and for Danielle's mother, Andrea, every passing month began to feel like an echo. The same questions, the same silence, the same grief repeating itself over and over. The first hearing was set and then delayed again. Over the next few years, the case was brought before the court more than 250 times. Some sessions lasted less than half an hour before being adjourned. Other times, witnesses didn't appear, paperwork would be missing, or the accused would simply be unavailable. There was 8 years of this, 8 years of waiting for one man to be held accountable. Mother Andrea kept on fighting. She emailed prosecutors, she called officials, she raised funds online to return to Goa when the hearings finally resumed. At one point, she and Danielle's sister Jolene travelled to India to sit inside the courtroom, only a few metres away from the man who was accused of taking Danielle's life. The mother later said that he refused to meet her eyes. He wouldn't look at us, wouldn't look back. She described the courtroom as suffocating, the weight of 8 years pressing down in that one room. Back home in Ireland, the case made headlines once again, but for an entirely different reason. In 2018, after a bureaucratic mix-up, officials in Dublin declined Andrea's request to meet with the Irish Prime Minister, Leo Varadkar. They told her that a meeting wasn't worthwhile, claiming that Danielle wasn't an Irish citizen because she had travelled on a British passport. Andrea was devastated. Her daughter had been born in Ireland, raised there, educated there. She went to school here, paid her taxes here. She was very proud to be Irish, Andrea said. To be told otherwise, it broke me. The media backlash to this was immediate. The Prime Minister later apologised in person, acknowledging that the government had in fact failed Danielle's family in their time of need. He promised to improve how Ireland supports its citizens' families when tragedies like this happen abroad. It was one moment of vindication, one small win in an endless fight. Through it all, Andrea kept speaking publicly, refusing to let the case be erased from memory. Her solicitor, Des Doherty, said she stayed with the Indian legal process, difficult as it was, and that has now worked in her favour, and it did. Because in February of 2025, after nearly a decade of delays, cross-examinations and adjournments, the District and Sessions Court in South Goa finally delivered its verdict. The judge declared Vikat Bhagat guilty of the SA and the murder of Danielle. Andrea and Jolene were there when it happened. Andrea said afterwards, "For 8 years we lived with questions. Today we have an answer." When the verdict came down, the courtroom fell silent. It was a quiet release. For Andrea, it meant the end of an 8-year nightmare. For Jolene, her sister, it meant that they could finally start to grieve. Outside the courtroom, cameras clicked. Reporters shouted questions. But the two women said very little. Andrea told them, "He stole her from us, from her sisters, from her friends. She was stolen the chance to be a mother herself." Her voice was calm and steady, the sound of a woman who'd spent years holding herself together because, frankly, she had no other choice. The court sentenced Vikat Bhagat to rigorous life imprisonment for murder and a second life term for the SA and 3 additional years for destroying evidence, all to run concurrently. Prosecutors had pushed for the death penalty, but for Danielle's family, it didn't matter. Nothing could bring Danielle back.
He has been convicted, which carries a maximum of 2 years and a fine of 10,000. But these sentences will run simultaneously, so the most important sentence here is rigorous imprisonment for life, which is his natural life.
Jolene later said, "We've lost nearly 8 years fighting for Danielle. Now maybe we can finally start to breathe again."
We are so thankful that their hard work has paid off and that Bhagat has been found guilty of taking Danielle from us. We have lost nearly 8 years of our lives fighting for Danielle, and we are so thankful that we can now start grieving her immeasurable loss. She made the most of her 28 years and lived every day to the fullest. She was so kind and always so happy. She didn't deserve what he put her through. We are so grateful to have been able to be here for the verdict and to see Goa that Danielle loved so much.
Today in Goa, people still visit the field where Danielle was found. Someone, no one knows who, leaves flowers there every few months, a quiet act of remembrance, in a place where what happened still hangs in the air. And back home in Ireland, Danielle rests in the same coastal town where she once danced, laughed, and dreamed of the world waiting beyond the shore. Her final resting place overlooks the water and the wide world that once lay before her. Mother Andrea still talks to her every day. "I message her on Facebook," Andrea said once. "It helps me feel close. I'm not ready to let go." The Irish government later added a small section to its Victims Charter, dedicated in Danielle's memory, a promise to never again leave families to face foreign justice systems alone. For Andrea, that meant something, a signal that her daughter's name had changed something in the world. Closure, though, is a complicated word. Justice can never erase absence. It doesn't fill the empty seat at the table. Danielle's mother says she still dreams of her. In those dreams, she's always smiling. The same smile that lit up Buncrana, the same one that she spread across the world. Andrea says in those moments, she remembers who her daughter really was, a free spirit, a believer in good, a girl who trusted too much in a world that didn't deserve it. She was kind, Andrea once said. She didn't see evil. She was kind up until she passed away. I'm Jack, and this is Dark Case. Be careful out there, and I'll see you soon.